It's 7:40. Let's do this. And you think you know someone until you go to their favorite town. And are you where you're supposed to be? Good evening, Hampton Roads, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live. How do I know that? Oh, well, I'm looking at the storm behind me. We're going to get to that. But I do know it's sponsored by Marco's Pizza. And this is either the best tease in the world or the worst, because it says the weather, Andy Griffith, and Goosebumps. And I don't mean Jack Black and Slappy. I don't mean Slappy. I mean like the goosebumps you get on your skin. I don't typically get them, but I got them when I came to WTKR, and I'll explain coming up. But we first have to get back to the maps because we've had a tornado warning. Now we have had no confirmation near the Gertie School or those areas, but we had a tornado warning that expired at 7 o'clock. We had another one that expired at 7:30, and now for the most part, this storm is moving off the coast. Most of it, the red areas, the intense reflectivity, and the thunderstorms north of Virginia Beach are in fact moving out. Yay, I like moving out. Out's good. But let me show you what it looked like a few minutes ago. Over the last 2 hours, it came right through downtown Norfolk, and it came through areas around Great Bridge, Greenbrier. I'm kind of curious to know if you got something, because this would be a great opportunity to let me know what you're seeing so I can put your name on the screen. Does that make sense? I'm making an effort because I'd love to see what you have to share with me. If you've got some comments, this is the time to do it. I'll do my best to put you on the screen. But I'm going to go ahead and put my first comment on here so I can get the ball rolling, because the only way this stays interactive, the only way this can be interactive is if you're participating. Because I can talk up here till the cows come home. That's not going to help everybody in the big picture. So I'm going to put a hi there, and then we'll see if this will filter through. Hopefully it will. Because that's what I've been aiming to do, is be able to see these comments. And there it is. Okay, so it says hi there. That's yours truly. I can actually put your screen name, your picture, and your comment on the screen. When you're ready, if you have a comment, I'll do my best to share it. Does that make sense? I'll do my best. But in the meantime, these storms that we've had tonight, this too shall pass. We have another round of this, it looks like tomorrow. Here's another view of this. This is actually where it came through the green one area. But if we look at this more macro view, right? We've got storms down across South Carolina. There's some severe weather there at this time. I'm zooming in the other direction. Pennsylvania's got some severe storms. Those are the orange polygons from just north of State College, not far from Puxatawney Phil. They have some severe weather there. But what we've been most interested in what happened in the Virginia Beach area. We were not, I repeat, not under an outlook for severe weather. Certainly not Hampton Roads. It was removed as updated like 2 minutes before 4 o'clock today. But lo and behold, that's what happens sometimes with the weather. You had a lot of high humidity. It didn't take much to start this fire. It started burning in terms of the severe weather and popping up in terms of storms. But again, if you've got a comment, let me know. The severe weather threat tomorrow will be isolated across the board. By the way, I can't do this. I can't do this very easily without a sponsor. And my sponsor has been amazing. Maybe you know who that sponsor is. I'm talking about Marco's Pizza. We gave away 10 free pizzas for a year last week and 10 the week before. Well, there's something cool about these 5 contest locations, 3 in Virginia Beach, 1 in Chesapeake, and 1 in Norfolk at Hampton Boulevard. If you go to WTKR.com/Marcos, you can win pizza for a year. Later this week, we'll announce another winner. But I'm a big fan, as you know, is Pozzoli, the Magnifico, the 1-topping pizza is what they're going to be giving away. You get a pizza for a year certificate so you can check off June, July, August. It saves everybody some money, and I think it's great. But there's a deal of the week. Drum roll, please. It's cheesy bread. Oh, what's the price of this? Nothing. Oh, you need the promo code, though. What's the promo code? It's WTKR Cheesy. Well, that's kind of cheesy, but it's good, right? If you want cheesy bread, but only the first 100. So what time is it? It's now 7:44. I know I'm going to go long, but I just thought I'd share with you. The password is, the promo code is WTKR Cheesy. And the first 100 only at the contest stores that we talked about here. If you're within a certain distance of these stores, check them out, but you use the promo code WTKR Cheesy. You could have 1 per household, free cheesy bread. How sweet is that? I mean, you watch First Warning Live, you get some cool things. I think you get some cool things. I hope you'll check us out. If you got a comment, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going back to the weather, because this severe weather threat that we have in effect is going to cover not only the Eastern Shore, but Hampton Roads, Tidewater area, as well as northeast North Carolina. The severe weather threat Tuesday looks like this, right? Damaging wind, had some of that today. Some flooding potential, had some of that today. Large hail, tornado formation, still on the menu, but not all that impressive. It's the cold front that's approaching town tomorrow. That's going to initiate a few more storms. We'll keep an eye on that. You've got a comment, let me know. I know somebody's out there. I hope somebody will say hi. Because if not, I know you're going to get tired of seeing this comment. This is the one I put out here. It just says, hi there. Let me know if you had severe weather tonight, if you had some hail. I would love to get your report here in pseudo real time. As far as the big picture, these storms have been widely scattered, but where they are in populated areas, clearly there are issues. Our low was 68 this morning, and our high was, what was it, 82. That's not true of Suffolk, though. To be fair, Suffolk hit 90 degrees. How do I know? Because it says 90 there, 82 here. That's a big difference. Sometimes rain and clouds can play a role in that, but it was 86 in Chesapeake. Our friends in Virginia Beach hit 83. So I got my cool Manio pictures over here, and if you know about anything about Andy Griffith, this was his love. He would spend so much time on Roanoke Island, and I got some great pictures. This is where he started his, you can argue that the Lost Colony, he got his acting career, really started here. And I'll talk more about him coming up, which I really think you're going to love if you're a fan of Andy Griffith. Now, maybe not everybody's a big fan of it, but I'm a big fan of his, and I'll explain why coming up. By the way, highs today, normal would be 83. We hit 82, so technically we're below average. The headlines, with all these crazy clouds coming in, some rain still possible tonight as the severe weather subsides. Strong isolated storms return on Tuesday, and less rain by midweek. Talking Wednesday, Thursday, hot and humid. Some of you are like, yay, I got somebody on board. Here's Nancy. Nancy, would you like some free cheesy bread? You're like, me? You mean I could have free cheesy bread? You could. I want to say hello. I want to say hello to Nancy. I want to give her a big old thank you for being here, Nancy Barco. And if she's interested, all she has to do is do WTKR cheesy for her promo code. She could actually get some free cheesy bread tonight. I think that's pretty cool, but I digress. I got to keep moving. Less rain, hot and humid. We hit 82 today. That means if you're keeping score, we've had 6, count them 6 below normal days in blue, and we've had 3 above normal days in red or burgundy. So for June highs, we're going to heat things up in a big way this week. I'll show you why in a moment. It's 74 right now in Portsmouth. That's rain-cooled air. Rain-cooled air in Norfolk at 72, while it's still 80 in Franklin, 79 in Manio. And the dew points feel like it's New Orleans around here, 73 Virginia Beach and 70 in Chesapeake. How amazing is this? I mean, lows this morning or tomorrow morning should be in the low 70s, so it's going to be icky, it's going to be sticky, but some love it. This time of year, it is, after all, it's still summer, right? You would expect lows to be on the high side, upper 60s, low 70s. That's typical for this time of year. But look at the current temperatures. It's right now 66 in Knoxville. Imagine you're getting some rain or have had some rain. It's 10 degrees warmer in Virginia Beach right now. Right now, hi there, still over here. Yep, I got to go back to my maps because look, 76 degrees. As we look at the pizza we want to give away, 82 in Richmond, 76 right now in Virginia Beach. So I'm just looking at all of this and trying to take it all in. The dew points are high, so it's very uncomfortable given the fact it's pretty icky and sticky across the board. Ooh, I got another note. I'm having a nice conversation, I think I am. I think I am anyway. Let me see if I can pull this back up. I see, let's see here. John Sham wants to know. Our buddy John says, what's the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning? Very good question, John. I can tell you this, typically when you think about tornado watches, it's the conditions are right. And we didn't have one tonight. We were just suddenly immersed into the warning because of the weak rotation that was potentially spinning up. The Weather Service thought it was more prudent to get everything in place. So we had a tornado warning was issued just after the 6 o'clock news. Does that make sense? I hope it does. John's on here. I want to give him a props because he's enjoying the live stream. But that's John Sham. That's his beautiful family, I would imagine. So I would say hi, John. So he's on here. Do I have my telestrator? I just circled. There it is. So I'm telestrating here, John. But thank you for that comment. Got another note from who else? I got Kim. Kim Thompson-Jones says, good evening, everybody. Glad to have her here. We're looking at her comments and her beautiful picture here. Looks like either family, but Kim's on here. So this is one of the nice things we could do with the First Warning Live. Hard to do that in a 3-minute weathercast, traditionally on TV. So that's why I think this is a great platform. For some of you that might watch this on delay, some of you will be watching this minutes later, hours later, or maybe even days later. That's okay. That's okay. I'm encouraging you to watch when it's convenient for you. So that's what we're doing over here. Let's go back to the maps. We're looking at the dew points. This is the humidity factor. Anything that's in the 70s is going to feel very swampy. We talked about the dew point forecast. It's very sticky the rest of the week, and you're really going to feel like it's unpleasant at times. Temperatures right now are cooler. Where is it cooler? Chicagoland, right? Minneapolis, St. Paul, a little bit cooler. These are current temperatures. And if we look at the future temperatures at 5,000 feet, which is a good level for meteorology nerds like me, we like to look at weather temperatures at that level to give us a good sense of what could happen down the road. By June 11th, it looks like this. Still very hot out west in Utah and New Mexico, and maybe Colorado is smoking hot right through the middle of the month. I know we got Father's Day coming up, but it could be getting a little bit hotter around here in the days to come. Then there's a cool spell, looks like that hits Detroit, Chicago by the 19th. So that gives you at least a bird's eye view. Tuesday's planner at 7:50. Got to keep going. 82 at noon tomorrow. I think we've got early showers. I think that's where we're going to be. Some early showers in the morning, then a break, and then we're going to go right to the hotter part of the day, 87. That should allow some of these storms to flare up, right? Strong to severe leftover storms by about 8 o'clock. So that's my expectation. Winds about 5 to 15 plus. The temperature trend will put us around 90 Thursday and Friday, and Saturday we're around 89 degrees. You got some comments, let me know. I see somebody who's not a big fan. He's not a big fan of the heat. Denmark is here. He says, I'm dreading this hot weather lurking. I think it's the humidity and the heat, but I agree with you. It's not always easy. I got a note from Sunny. I love your what. You should be doing the weather, Sunny. This is Sunny, everybody. I don't know. It's the first time I've seen her comment, but I know she's on here and she's got her beautiful face on here. Because if you can enlarge your photo, the bigger you are on the screen, it says, "Is there any more storms possibly in the Chesapeake Deep Creek area for tonight? Maybe tomorrow." Tomorrow, yes. About a 70% chance. But for tonight, it looks like it's winding down. I think we've seen the worst of tonight. I hope that helps Sunny prepare. I hope that helps you prepare, because clearly the rain has been disruptive as of today. So here you go. Rain chances. Really simple, right? 70% there. That's pretty clear. And then it drops off Wednesday, Thursday. Then it spikes back up on Saturday. You're going, boo, Saturday. But fear not. Fear not. We can go ahead and add that in. Mainly PM. Is that what it says? Can you zoom in? There it is, mainly PM. So I think, at least given the data we see today, chance of rain is going to be mainly in the afternoon on Saturday, kind of like what it was last Saturday. Rainfall forecast shows some of the coloring that might be populating between now and tomorrow, but really, by the time you hit 11 o'clock tomorrow night, we may have received another quarter to a half inch of rain. Some areas in blue might be a little more than a half inch in places like inland Virginia or the Albemarle Sound. Outer Banks might pick up 2/3, 3/10 of an inch, I should say, maybe 1/3 of an inch. But this takes us to 5 o'clock on Wednesday. If you're in the Eastern Shore, I'm looking at UO Nancock, 81 tomorrow. If you're in beautiful Cape Charles, about 80. If you're in the Outer Banks, hello Manio, we're going to talk about you in great detail. I won't disappoint. 83 tomorrow for you, and 82 for Nags Head, Duck about 80. And Rodanthe, 82. Hatteras, 81. Ocracoke at 81 degrees. You got some notes, you got some thoughts, and want to share whatever you're thinking, let me know. Who else is on here? I got some notes from, I got another follow-up from Nancy. She says, cheesy bread. Yeah, use the promo code. You'll be thrilled to get some free cheesy bread from Marcos. That's what we're trying to do, is to get people. Only 100, though. You got to be one of the first 100. To those 5 locations. Storm Prediction Center is looking. They didn't have us under the dark green today. Probably should have in hindsight, but at least tomorrow they do. Severe weather threat now until 8 o'clock tomorrow is in San Angelo, Texas, scattered. Where you see Houston, scattered. This is their outlook for the next couple of hours through 8 o'clock tomorrow. Includes Charleston, West Virginia, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But you'll notice how we were out of the mix. But David, I know what you're thinking. David, we had severe weather. I know, but they didn't have us. They didn't show us. We're not colored. I know. Sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes forecasts can go awry, and our friends with the PhDs in Norman, Oklahoma, didn't see it. But you know what? The National Weather Service locally said, "Hey, we got a storm. We're going to issue it." So there's no crow to eat. It's just the fact that sometimes when you have high humidity, it doesn't take much, not even much of a spark, to get things going, and that's what we saw tonight. A lot of the storms occurring right around the 6:37, 7:30 time frame. Tomorrow, the threat covers most of the mid-Atlantic, I'm looking at areas in Texas, scattered in yellow, Houston, isolated, New Orleans, isolated, and you go back here into Raleigh, Virginia Beach, you're looking at isolated severe storms on Tuesday, right? So that's where things are. It's now 7:55. I'm going to be done, hopefully, the weather segment at the top of the hour, because I really got to get into Andy Griffith here in a moment. Severe weather Wednesday, yeah, it's Salt Lake City, isolated. Wednesday, Austin, Texas, Corpus Christi, and if you're in the military, you have family in the Milwaukee area, Waterloo. They could have isolated severe storms. Wednesday, we've got a pretty good looking day on Wednesday, all in all. So we say goodbye to Sunny's question, are we going to get anything more in the Chesapeake area? It looks like it's all out of here, right? 11 o'clock, I think most of us are fine at 11 o'clock tonight. That's just a few hours from now. But when we wake up tomorrow morning, drop, maybe the rain is causing the wipers on your vehicle to go back and forth at a low to moderate speed. Doesn't look that heavy, but it could change in the hours to come. And then all of a sudden, oh, there's Daryl. All of a sudden, yeah, you start to break up the clouds at 12 noon come tomorrow. And then you start to see at 3 o'clock, some of the more vigorous storms start to light up with the heating of the day. Some of the red returns on I-95 heading this direction might light up the sky in Duck or Manio at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So we could do this again. It's a lather, rinse, repeat situation. X more. We can include you on the Eastern Shore in a husky. So does that help? I hope it helps, because given the fact that this is the unsettled pattern we have, it's not until Wednesday things finally calm down like a ceiling fan that's been turned off at the switch. By midday on Wednesday, maybe a 10 or 20% chance. Maybe. Shows a green dot at Elizabeth City. Maybe. But I think generally you're looking at a mostly sunny Wednesday, probably the pick day of the week. Wednesday and Thursday, not bad all in all. All right, it's 7:57, 72 south side, 73 North Carolina, and with highs tomorrow in the mid-80s. I mean, generally, I think we've got a good shot at 87. This says 88, but I think we've got a good shot to make it in the mid-80s. Tuesday afternoon, unsettled because of the storms. Here's my expectation. You're looking at a 7-day forecast, your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. 85 Wednesday, 90 on Thursday and Friday, clearly above average. And with overnight lows in the low 70s, it is icky and sticky 100%. You know what I'm saying? When I see numbers like this in the morning, brutal. You're living under the air conditioning, maybe. It's blasting cold in the car. If that's the case, you're not alone, because a lot of people probably are tired of the humidity, but it is summer. It is summer after all. If you've got a comment, you want to share something that you're thinking, now's the time to let me know. We got a note here. I said mention Kim. She's saying hello and good evening, everyone. Glad to have Kim here. And who else did we talk about? And Nancy was saying hello earlier. Just a quick hello to Nancy again. Nancy Barco. Glad to have her on this call. So we've got some activity, a lot of activity, clearly, to take in. Did I mention we've got some cool happy shots here as we'll round out the weather segment of this and get to the spotlight. What am I talking about, the spotlight? Come back on camera. I'm talking about the fact that on the spotlight, this is what we're looking at, right? I've done now 8 towns with extra care, love, and TLC. I've taken 80 pictures of these towns, and each one of them has been special to me because I hadn't been to these towns. These were new to me. Right after Patrick Rocky retired at the end of February, I went to Poquoson, then I went to Smithfield, Moyock, I went to Eatonton, Franklin, Exmoor, Matthews, and Manio. So what I want to share with you in the next few minutes is not only that experience, but something very personal to me that I think you'll enjoy. So stay with me. The show isn't over, as they say. This is social media. I don't have anybody in my ear wrapping me up. So that's what's good news about that. But let me go back to the beautiful sunrise picture from Mr. Wynn. Love it. Look at that sunrise just a few days ago. And Buckrow Beach, are you kidding me? There was a rainbow. Thank you, Nicole, for sharing that beautiful picture with us. I love it. And oh yes, one more, Virginia Beach with a drone from Ed. I guess it was last Tuesday, June 3rd, he captured this beautiful picture of Virginia Beach. How cool is that? I think it's cool. I think it's super cool. But again, I digress. I want to get back to the nuts and bolts here. And I guess the best way to do this is to come back here. I was out in Manio, as many of you know who've seen the post, just on Saturday. I was able to beat the weather. Because we had some storms that came in later. But Manio happened to be a very special place for who? For Andy Griffith. And I have a book here, have a book here, I don't know if you can see it. Andy Griffith's Manio, His Real Mayberry. Now, I'm not here to get into a contest between Mount Airy, where he grew up, to Manio, where he spent his time as an adult. This was clearly a beloved place for him. So the pictures that I'm going to show you hopefully will have some meaning to you, especially if you've been to Manio. One of the cool things you can see here is I was there for Dare Days. Dare Days. Meet me in Manio. And you might be thinking, hey, there's Reynolds Barbershop. Well, wait a minute. If this is Mayberry, I thought his name was Floyd. Floyd, yeah, maybe so. Floyd is an option. But I had a chance to go into the weather nuts and bolts of Manio. And what am I talking about here? I'm talking about the weather tower. Did you know Hurricane Irene caused the water from Shallowbag Bay to rise to this level at this location? This is the National Weather Service marking of the high water mark from Hurricane Irene, where I say this weather as much as I can. And that was about the summer before Andy Griffith had passed away. He passed away in 2012, the day before Independence Day, from what I'm reading. Now, what's amazing about this water level, there's also a cool weather tower. What does that look like? They have this Manio weather tower where they display the flags, and it's kind of like a forecast. It is believed to be one of only 5 towers that's still in use. Still in use. So if you're on the call and you have some questions for me, I will pause at any point to hopefully give you some more information. I'm really thankful that you're here, because what I'm about to cover, you're not going to see in too many places. And it's more than just the pictures. It's some of the background information I think you'll appreciate in great detail. And we talked about the cheesy bread a moment ago. If you haven't captured the cheesy code, promo code, it's WTKR cheesy from our good friends at Marco's. So I mentioned the weather tower. I'm going through the town. I'm running into Reynolds Barbershop, which I'm thinking Floyd and Mayberry. What was it about Manio that he thought was Mayberry-like? People talk to you. They make eye contact with you. They look you in the eye. And you might be thinking, David, what do you have in common with Andy Griffith? Well, it's a good question. I went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and so did Andy. Well, that's preposterous. You know, it was like, 4.5 decades after he was there, I know. But I also had a speaking part. What? I had a speaking part on Matlock in the early 90s. You didn't know that? A lot of people in this building didn't know that. And I want to share that with you, because you could have pushed me over with a feather. I had like goosebumps when I learned this, because one of the things about this episode, and I talked about this different spotlights, we're talking about neighborhoods, we're talking about Manio, right? One of the things I got a chance to do was I got a chance to go to Manio and meet the guy that I worked with years ago. You see this? I don't know if you see this. Pop this back on here. That's me in the middle. I was in episode 18 from season 7. That's me right there. Now, I look pretty young because I was in my early 20s. But what's amazing about that is that I didn't realize out of 193 episodes, we had somebody call the station, somebody who's community-oriented. Somebody called the station and said, hey, David, you were like a murder suspect. It was an apparent suicide, but you were quizzed by Matlock's daughter. That's kind of the premise, no spoiler alert. But this episode was called The Competition, and that's me, right? I can tell you that was me back in the day. And I had a chance to work with Andy Griffith. Now, what blew me away, are you ready to come back on camera? This is what blew me away, is that somebody had noticed that Andy, in my particular episode, remember there was 193 of these episodes, plus a pilot, and I'm in one speaking part, one episode, that's it. And in the magazine that he's reading, in my episode, it happens to have what? This is what blew me, it gave me goosebumps. Maybe it won't give you goosebumps, but it did me, is this. He's reading an Outer Banks magazine. With what on it? News 3. News 3 magazine. Now, I know this may not seem all that much interesting, I mean, at surface, but somebody said, David, you should be here. That was a 32-year forecast. I said, oh, come on, life doesn't work like that. Or does it? And then I showed this to Kurt. He was in 1987, he got here. He was in year 6 when this magazine was on the back of the Outer Banks magazine. And I've later learned from the book from John Rayleigh that Andy was friends with the publication owner, the Outer Banks magazine. So I don't know if this is interesting to you, but to me, it was pretty unreal. I thought, wow, I've been in a lot of places, but I mean, he's maybe using this magazine in one other episode, but it happened to be the episode that I was in. I thought that was pretty wild. So if that seems interesting to you, it seems very interesting to me. And like I said, I try and do these spotlights for a reason. It's really just to kind of get out and see the sights, right? So I'm going to go back and hopefully go back to the forecast, because this, as beautiful as this is, I wanted you to be able to see the forecast. But Manio, the elementary school, I didn't know, after I finished the book this morning, by the way, he actually had a foundation that he started. One of the things I took away from this is that Andy is and was very loyal to those who lived on the island. He gave back with the foundation. He fought with a grocery store chain. I didn't know that. And there was one occasion, it wasn't pleasant, but he got a haircut in Norfolk. Did you know that? No, you might not have done that. So this is why it's, I think, very, very important to recognize that. It's important to make eye contact with people. I got that at Edenton. I got that at Matthews. I got that at a lot of places. And that's why I think it's really nice when you have a community like the one in WTKR, the neighborhood spotlights, to be able to spotlight some of these notes all in all. If you're on the call, we'd love to say cool. Denmark is saying, hey, that's cool. It is cool because he's got certainly a good sense of humor, and I love that about Denmark. So when we're looking at these spotlights, I just wanted you to recognize that in Manio there was quite a few notes here. And again, I talked about the Dare Days. I talked about Reynolds Barbershop. Here's the other thing. I went to Downtown Books, New and Used, talked to a guy named Bill Massey, and I said, I understand Andy Griffith is buried on his waterfront property. Can you confirm that? He said, yes, that is true. He said, have you been to the Roanoke Marshes Lighthouse? I said, yes. He said, have you been out to the lighthouse? I said, yes. He says, have you been to the water tower? I said, yes, I was, weather tower. I was just there, the weather tower. He said, go back out because we have a Downtown Books booth right next to the water tower. And that was when I got a chance to meet John Rayleigh, the guy who wrote the book. So if you are a big fan of Andy, or just kind of like, I had a chance to interact with him, and what I love about Andy is that, some people said he was this way or that way. He was awesome to work with. Somebody said, well, there's a side of Andy, he was complex. Every actor that I've worked with is complex. That's kind of like we all want to wear the right glasses and see the right kind of situation in our lives where we want to be remembered for the good things, right? If you wear certain glasses, you could find the bad in anybody, but it's probably more important and more valuable to see the best in people. And I really enjoyed the book. I would encourage you to check it out. But those are just some of the spotlight pictures I wanted to share with you. That's kind of where it was. Kim's on here. She says, nice. Now, quick question. How is it that a weather guy gets to audition for a Madlog? If that question's crossed your brain, I want to take you back a little bit further. I'm going to stick with the weather for a moment. See, back in the day, 9 years ago, if you'll notice here, there's a telestrator here. Let me go ahead and take this comment off here. One of the things, I came to Norfolk years ago to present to the National Weather Association. That was one of the things I got a chance to do. So I came to Norfolk as a presenter for a paper. I did a talk called It's Not Just What You Say That Gets You Into Trouble, But How It's Understood. And I've had the chance to rub shoulders with some of the best of them. Here's one with Ginger Z, right? She was awesome. I had a chance to hang out with Jim Cantori. This is in Norfolk 9 years ago. There's Alan Seals, some great people. And you say, which one are you? I'm the guy there on the right. Maybe it's a little easier to see if I put the telestrator over here, but that's me over here. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I certainly love weather, and I had the privilege of having a classmate at NC State who is currently, the director of the National Hurricane Center, Mike Brennan, which he would tell you it's better to be prepared and plan ahead than to be caught flat-footed. Because at some point a tropical storm or hurricane is going to come back to Northeast North Carolina, the Outer Banks or Hampton Roads, and the question is, will you be ready? Because there's no line right now for medication, for diapers, for formula, these things that you can do to stock up on what you need if and when that ever happens. It may not happen this year, it might be 3 years from now, but be prepared and plan ahead. It's just best the way to go when you look at the big scheme of things. So that was my life. I've kind of lived two parallel universes. I'll give you an example. Let's see here. If there's interest, I'll keep going because I just didn't want to get too involved in the maps here, but understand that Andy Griffith did have an episode back in the day. I had no idea that News 3 was on the back of the magazine. So that's how I got Goosebumps. That's how it came about. And there's other stories I'll share with you down the road because it is now 8:09. I've gone a little long. But in the meantime, just remember, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or serious. Every day is a gift. I really hope that you'll make the most of your neighborhood, because really, what choice do we have? We had some nasty storms tonight. We may get some more tomorrow, but I'll have more details on that as we take a look at that 7-day forecast. Have a great night.